gotta go this way. We're going up the mountain. We're gonna hike up the top of this cinder hill and test the Handy Hammock and where there's no trees. See how it works. All right, we made it to the top. See if we can get a nice view here. There's a place over here where there are no trees, so we're gonna give that a try. Say hi.
Hi.
That's my hiking buddy. It's a little bit uneven, a little bit of sloping ground. We finally got the Handy Hammock set up right on the top of this cinder hill. Not really any trees to speak of. Here are the struts. What's really cool, I love how this whole kit has been engineered. There's the peg holes. You notice the little balls, these on part of the struts? They're all the same. It's just been really well designed. Now, the stakes, that's the real tricky part. As you saw in the video, I was trying to get these stakes in, and you know, and I was just testing it, just putting my hand weight on it. I pulled 2 sets of these stakes just right out of the ground. They weren't pounded in all the way. They were just probably halfway in, which was fine in some cases. But this cinder soil, I mean, this is just a whole bunch of little cinders and rocks and dirt. It pulled out pretty quickly, pretty easily. You notice one of the modifications that I did, the Handy Hammock comes with this line here at the bottom, that it's kind of a spacer line that gives you the correct spacing for in between the 2 base plates here. And then I added another measurement line, this blue line, and it connects to the base of the strut there. And it really just helped it. I don't know if you noticed in the video, I was able to just pull all the strut, or excuse me, all of the base plates out together in one complete piece. And it just went up really quick. These stakes aren't even in all the way, but they held fine. They were in, I don't know, just some firmer soil, some stiffer soil, but they didn't pull out at all. But the ones on this corner pulled right out the first time. I mean, once I pounded them in, they were fine. You saw me laying them. But here's the one of the modifications again. Measurement line in the blue. This is just some amp steel I had hanging around. One of the advantages here is that it prevents this strut from kicking out. And that was one of the problems I initially had when I set up the hammock the first time with just the stock setup, is that this strut tended to flip out because these guy lines are pulling the top down, but there's nothing holding that bottom part of the strut. The distance here, it's about, what is it, 4 meters, 4.5 meters, about 15 feet. All right, we got Spencer in the hammock. What do you think, Spencer? Is this a cool hammock?
Yes.
Yes, sir. The other mod that I did, I just really have a pet peeve about putting my hammocks on the ground. And, oh. You flipped out of the hammock into the bug net. Not recommended. All right. Okay, crisis averted. I got a length of shock cord, if you can see that, and I just scrapped together some pieces. If you notice in the setup process, that shock cord helped keep the struts together. and that way I didn't have to have the hammock as part of the kit. So the hammock acts as part of the suspension that keeps the Handy Hammock upright. But one of the failings for me is it means that that hammock is connected at all times with this line, and during the setup process, the hammock inevitably ends up on the ground. By adding this shock cord between the two tops of the struts, that allowed me to disconnect the hammock and allow me to set that up independently. Typically there's the O-ring that connects over the top here, and I just used an S-ring from another hammock that worked out fine. I don't recommend this, but it's what I was using for the demonstration. Typically the guy line here is connected to the O-ring, and the O-ring is connected to the hammock. And again, I disconnected those so that I could set up the hammock independent of the suspension. So you can use other hammocks with this. I think what I'll do is I'll go down to the hardware store, pick me up a steel O-ring and a 1-inch O-ring so I can connect that to this here, and a small string here that I can connect the hammock. You know, the more I think about it, the more I really like this stand. It has its limitations, you know. I think that's fairly obvious. It's not a freestanding stand, but you know, it wasn't designed to be that. It's designed to be an outdoor stand, you know, like a backyard stand, and it has got to be careful with all the guy lines and the cords and the stakeout points. It just creates a little bit of a, you know, there's a tripping hazard, and it's ideal in places where, like the Pacific Crest Trail, the PCT, or the AZT, Arizona Trail, where there are sections where there's just no trees. But you don't want to give up the hammock, and certainly I wouldn't want to if you could find a way to do it. And it's fairly lightweight. It's certainly the most backpacker-friendly stand. A stand that you can take with you, and even in alpine areas, rolling hills and wide prairies, camporees, it's great. So, you know, I recommend the stand. I think it's great. It's worked for me in my testing, so I can definitely recommend it if it's something you're looking for.